It's the 7th MLB Draft of the Mike Elias era, and few teams in baseball have done it better. 3 All-Stars in Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, and Jordan Westburg, and ascending talents like Colton Cowser, Jackson Holliday, and Kobe Mayo. There's plenty of reason for optimism when the draft rolls around with this front office at the helm. 7 years in, there's a big enough sample to try and find some similarities in these draft picks. On the surface, prospects like Heston Kjerstad and Enrique Bradfield Jr. look like completely different players. They are different archetypes, but finding some similarities could paint a picture as to what the Orioles might do with their first selections this year. So let's Sherlock Holmes this thing. We'll try to find some clues that'll tell us about this year's draft picks, and we'll power rank some traits. Now, remember, every team in baseball would love a prospect that's good at everything, but that's just not always possible. So maybe some archetypes are just valued by Baltimore more than others. That's what we're trying to see. So we'll start back in 2019 with the number 1 overall pick. Rutschman was a slam dunk prospect with an on-base percentage close to 617 home runs in his junior year at Oregon State. Just ridiculous numbers for the best college baseball player in the nation. His scouting reports on MLB Pipeline and Baseball America raved about his advanced approach at the plate, rarely expanding the zone, and the ability to make hard contact. Henderson was further down the prospect rankings, but Pipeline noted his hard contact too. And Baseball America thought there was potential to hit for average. Yeah, I'd say so. Both were good athletes with upside defensively. It's the first draft class. Let's cast a wide net. We'll jot down a good plate approach, hard contact, defensive upside, and a good athlete at a premium position. That's a lot of traits, but it's a good place to start. The selection of Kjerstad in 2020 narrows things down a bit. The Arkansas product could absolutely destroy the baseball, and he hit for average, but there wasn't much defensive upside in a corner outfield. Still had a cannon for an arm, though. MLB Pipeline noted Westburg's power upside, and Baseball America called him an impressive athlete. Scouts seemed to be mixed about whether or not he could stick at shortstop, but felt confident in his ability at third base. Both guys had an aggressive approach at the plate, but showed improved walk and strikeout rates. All right, let's move some things around. Rutschman and Kjerstad were good athletes, but they were more bat over speed. Kjerstad, too, was in a corner outfield rather than center, and Henderson and Westburg had some questions at shortstop. But all 4 guys could absolutely mash. So after 2 drafts, here's our power rankings. Hard contact at the top, followed by plate approach. Then we'll go with defensive upside, speed and athleticism, and finally, a premium position. On to the next. That's where we find Cowser. And with all due respect, he doesn't help very much, because scouts pretty much said this is a safe, 5-tool potential prospect. He did everything well. Some of the top things of note about the center fielder were his plate approach and ability to find the barrel. He was really heralded for that approach, so we'll at least switch our top 2. Plate approach takes the top spot, followed by hard contact. Then it's defensive upside, speed and athleticism, and a premium position. No change there. Now, the next year, we're back to the number 1 overall pick, where the Orioles selected Jackson Holliday, who, according to MLB Pipeline, by the way, was not even the number 1 prospect in that class. But I think Baltimore feels pretty good about their selection. And guess what Pipeline had to say about the shortstop? An advanced approach at the plate, a knack for finding the barrel, and the ability to make consistent hard contact. Can we get those top 2 traits in italics? Plate approach and hard contact are running away with this thing. But it gets more interesting from here. No number 1 pick, no top 5, no top 10. For the last 2 years, the Orioles have been in the back half of the first round. And with those selections, the O's have found some guys with a few elite traits, but some question marks. That's just what you're going to get without a high pick. For Enrique Bradfield Jr., the speed and athleticism were off the charts. He was getting Kenny Lofton comparisons for wreaking havoc on the base paths. So maybe you're thinking, hey, did we italicize those top 2 traits too early? I'm not so sure. Baseball America noted Bradfield's solid understanding of the strike zone and his, quote, sneaky exit velocities. Pipeline called it sneaky pop. Not too sneaky for us to find. Keep the italics, but we'll move speed and athleticism up a spot. Bradfield's defense was elite too, but that's in large part due to the speed and athleticism. He was at a position of value too. Now here's where things get a little tricky. We've gone from 2019 to 2024, and last year's first-round pick, Vance Honeycutt, is the only one that deviated from that model a little bit. There were some question marks on the plate approach, but the power was elite, as was the speed and athleticism, and defensive upside at a premium position. So I think our clear winner is hard contact. Even Bradfield and his sneaky exit velocity still qualify. Hit the ball hard, that's a good place to start. Italics, underline. Now, despite Honeycutt's question marks, we're going to keep plate approach in italics, just not underlined. We're going to add speed and athleticism to that tier too. Now, if you're shouting from the rooftops that Bradfield and Honeycutt were two of the best defenders in college baseball, I hear you. But factoring in guys like Henderson and Westberg, I think the defense is a nice addition to being a top-tier athlete rather than the other way around. So defense and a premium position go in the third tier. Still important, the Orioles like to draft up the middle, just maybe not the deciding factor. So if you've got a list of 20 guys that the Orioles could select, and 5 of them don't make hard contact, maybe you've narrowed down your list a little bit. And then we'll move to that plate approach and speed and athleticism and so on. There could be a trait lower down the list that is just so elite that it outweighs one higher than it, but hey, we're just trying to put the puzzle pieces together here. If you're following along on a big board, maybe keep these traits in mind. But one thing is certain. Baltimore has the chance to completely change the future of the farm.